Shall we start?
Yep.
Okay. Right. So today onwards, what is that are we doing about Jira 1? So because yesterday we have discussed about the claim processing followed by claim adjudication, all that, in reference to Medicare, Medicaid, all that. And whatever are we going to discuss in today's session about Jira part. So as you know, like when we are implementing any application in irrespective of the domains. So this is irrespective of the domain I'm talking about. So whether either you may belongs to healthcare or you may belongs to any of the domain, choosing the right development life cycle model is essentially important. So whenever we are choosing development life cycle model, something like waterfall, V model, all that, as a part of requirements communication in reference to the role of a BA, I'm talking about. Because we need to communicate requirements to the team. We normally prepare some documents, something like BRD, SRS, all these will be prepared by us. Business requirements documents, software requirements specifications, all these will be prepared by us. But whereas when it comes to agile part, because traditional models we were using for a very long time, what is business requirements and how it looks like, so how you prepare, so that we have shown. But when it comes to agile implementation, so there are tools which normally we use to write down all these. Normally in agile we have different roles are available, especially in agile. As I mentioned earlier, we will be having 3 different roles. So the first role, please mute yourself. Agile roles in reference to the Scrum will be of 3. So the first role we call it as product owner. Second will be called as Scrum team. Please mute yourself. Third we call it as Scrum master. Please mute yourself. Right. So there are 3 different roles. One is product owner, Scrum team, followed by Scrum master. Being a business analyst, in most of the conditions, we will be a product owner in most of the times. So if you are a product owner, your major responsibilities is to define the goal and vision of the product, developing epics, and writing user stories. This is what generally being a product owner you do. At the same time, last but not least, create and maintain product backlog is also your responsibility as a agile person. Like, so defining the goal and vision of the product, creating epics user stories, maintaining product backlog. So these are the activities being a product owner we will be doing, we will be performing, because most of the BA roles. When we are following the traditional model, we prepare documents as a part of requirements, communication, all that. In reference to the role of a business analyst, when we are transforming ourselves into agile environment, so most of the conditions, there are chances that we become product owner because the role is something similar to the role what as a BA we held. So being a product owner, our job is to define the goal and vision of the product, writing down epics. Epics nothing but large scale of solution. Large scale of solution is what we call it as epic. This is what epic stands for. User story nothing but a short description of requirement. Short description of requirement is what we call it as user story. Because for example, there is a functionality. In the beginning, I have told you that. So there is a functionality. If you want to explain that functionality, what is that you need to do? You have to write some user stories for that. Right? So normally we write it on the documentation format. As in Agile, we don't have the procedure and the policy to do that. We have an option called user story. So user story nothing but it's a short description of requirement, which normally it uses. Right? So we write the requirement in a shorter format. That's what user story stands for. Next, followed by this, creating and maintaining product backlog. So what is product backlog? Now, writing down the user stories is a continuous task, right? As long as the requirements we have, we normally write user stories. So when we have written user stories, there must be some repository to store all that. So product backlog is nothing but it's a repository to store all the user stories, not only user stories. If your user story, if you are minimizing into tasks, right? So subtasks followed by the bugs when we have written the code. So if you have any identified any bugs and all everything, so does bugs, all these things comes under product backlog. So product backlog is the repository to store whatever the issues we have written. Normally all these, whatever I have mentioned you so far, these we call it as issue. The name itself is called as issue, right? Either it may be a user story. If you are minimizing user story into simplification, that is called task. If you are minimizing the task, subtask. Bugs means, for example, you have written the code. There were errors in the code. And whatever the errors we have identified, so that errors will be mentioned by the testing team, right? So this is what the problem it was, all that stuff. So those we call it as bugs. So those bugs will be maintained in the product backlog. So based on the bugs, again, rewriting of code will be done by the development team. So that's how the process will happen. So this is what generally being a product owner you have to do. So you must be knowing about how to write user stories, epics, all that stuff. Next, Scrum team will look after the development. Scrum master will takes care of managing the team, all that. So that is the next level. That is the next part. Now here, what is that you need to learn practically is to create user stories. How to create user story is what you need to learn. So if you want to write a user story, there is a template which normally we follow. That is as follows. I might have explained this earlier, but as I'm showing it on Jira from today onwards, I'm explaining this again to you. Right? So I hope you remember. So as a system user, action followed by result. right? So this is what generally the 3-step procedure we follow when you're writing down a user story. Remember one thing, when you're writing a user story, being a product owner, you always write from the user perspective, right? So user perspective. So if I'm a user, what is that I want to do? That is how generally your perception will be. So as a system user, the action we are following, followed by the result, what is that we are going to get. Right? So this is how generally user story will be written. Now I'm taking an example here so that you could understand well in advance. For example, creating a login page, right? So this is what customer has asked us to prepare, creating a login page. When you want to create a login page, how to write user story is what you need to learn. As a system user, I want you to create login credentials so that I can use the system, right? So here, creating login credentials is what the action that need to be performed by whom? Performed by the development team, right? Or Scrum team, whatever, right? So this is what they have to do, right? So for what reason? Using the system, this is what the result. Who wants this result? User wants the result. That's the reason why when you're writing down a user story, being a product owner, we always write a user story from the perspective of a user. Okay, so writing down credentials, I want you to create login credentials is an action that has to be performed by the development team. So if you want to create login credentials, for what reason? End result is using the system. Who is going to use the system? User is going to use the system. User may be anyone, right? User may be anyone, whoever are using that application. Okay, so I'm taking this out because it leads to confusion. So I'll just take it out, right? So this is how generally user story will be written. But if I have given this as a user story to you, assume that you're all belongs to development team. If I have given this user story to you, there are possibilities that you may feel confusion. Why is it confusion? Because if you see this user story, particular user story, this user story doesn't provide how this uh, login page looks like or how to create, right? So that information was missing. How is missing here? How is missing? So this is not required for a developer because, for example, if you are a developer, if you are asking me how the page looks like, all that, I can give some references, right? Some screenshots or something I can give so that you can use it accordingly. But whereas when it comes to the testing team, because testing team, if you remember, I've shown you some test cases, all that in the beginning. Means when I'm showing the testing parts, so test cases, all that I have shown. That we prepare in the traditional approach. But when you follow the agile approach, we don't have the documentation format. Hence, what is that we do is, we write acceptance criteria. We write acceptance criteria. Why? Because how is missing here. So acceptance criteria is what we have to write. Because how this user story will be accepted, right? So to explain that, acceptance criteria is being used here. So acceptance criteria as follows. Require 2 fields for username and password. Second, need to have a login need to have submit and cancel button. Right. There must be a provision to retrieve the password if someone forgot. At the same time, need to have an option for new registration. Okay, so this is how generally an acceptance criteria will be written. So user story I have written, followed by this acceptance criteria is what we have written. This is how generally the user story followed by acceptance criteria have to be written by the product owner. Now I'm getting into Jira, so I'll be showing this on Jira board. So for that, I'll be taking some sample application.
Oh, can you please go to that session note again?
Sorry.
The one that the session note. Can you please go up to the top part, the top? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Right. So how to write user stories followed by epics, all that stuff you need to learn. So Jira is a project management tool. Let me introduce Jira first. So Jira is a project management tool which is widely used across industries to write down and to manage the project. Means if you want to develop a project and all, so you need to to develop the project, Jira is the one which is being used. Of course, apart from Jira, there are other tools even, but widely used is Jira because we have even the trial versions of Jira. At the same time, it is easy for people to use it because you need to manage the tasks, you need to manage the users, right? So you need to identify bugs by the testing team, right? So for all these things, there is a tool which is required so that Jira is the one which will be used. Jira is a tool which is powered by Atlassian. Atlassian is a corporation, in software company. It's a product. Atlassian, Jira is a product powered by Atlassian Corporation. Now you can see here there is an option called Jira, wherein you can see it on Google. Right? So Jira, right? So here you can see a link. So whenever you are clicking on this, the screen will be appear like this, where it will ask you to have a start 30 days free trial. 30 days free trial. So if you are a new user, so you can click on that. So give your valid Gmail credentials, because through your Gmail credentials, this 30 days trail can be accessible to you, right? So you can access it. So that is all for either we provide training or someone wants to learn Jira, everybody can do this. Using this, the people can do. Now, what is that we can do? Start my free trial. 3-day trial is what we are learning today. So if you want to have that free trial, you need to provide login credentials as I have mentioned. So I already logged in so that my account was already active. So that if you want, you can do it later. So you can do that. Now, this is a login credential through which I have logged in. Here you can see an option here like this, where I'm selecting Jira software. Of course, the remaining things were not needed for you because as a part of my Jira and Jira administration training, I follow Bitbucket administration all that. That's not related for your course. So Jira software is what you will be learning now. So Jira software is what you're selecting. So when you are clicking on the Jira, this is how generally a Jira board looks like. You can see this is how a Jira board looks like. Now, whatever the projects, because I am the login person, I am the owner of, I'm an admin of this particular Jira board. So I may be running in real environment, I may be running multiple projects, right? So I can run even. So maybe a cloud-based POS, healthcare, hospital, administration, online shopping, portfolio, university admission. So these are the different applications I am running here, right? So all these applications, maybe in real environment also, we may run multiple projects parallelly. So being an admin, having a control over the Jira board, wherein being a creator, so I can manage the board, right? Because if you take an organization may have multiple projects, right? May not be one, multiple projects you can see. So like this, you have different projects you have. So I'm going to show you how to create a project first, because whatever that I'm showing you are the projects which are available here, but that doesn't have any value. So that doesn't have any use, right? So how to create a project, you need to learn first. So here you have an option called create project. Okay. Now, before getting into project, let me identify some case studies on that, so that we can do that accordingly. Okay. I'm taking some projects, something relating to like healthcare related projects. Okay, I'm taking. Right. So let me take this project into an account. For example, this is the project I'm taking. So where this project is something, so ours is taking like a healthcare project, right? So for to write Jira, all that stuff. Now, so this is a project which majorly explains us about providing an integrated suite for practice management for different billing modules, especially in healthcare. At the same time, EHR and billing modules like electronic health records. EHR stands for electronic health records and billing modules. So this is an application, is a technical application, of course, IT application, especially in reference to the healthcare domain. It helps to streamline the business process and give better clinical outcomes to the healthcare providers. Whoever is using the application called this Qlient, because Qlient is a name of the product, right? It's product name it is. So what product it is? It's a product which integrates the suite of practice management, EHR and billing modules. All these will be integrated under a product name called Qlient. So what it will do? It helps you to streamline the business process of the clinical outcomes of any healthcare provider. This is what generally this application belongs to. Now here, what is that they can do? This, of course, this application has an access of mobile apps, all that. So that is different thing. So where this application major usage is to are as follows. This application major usage is to auto charge capture. You can schedule appointment and resources, accessing patient's medical history, prescribed accurate medications, improve care coordination, all this stuff. So these are the, whatever the points I am highlighting you. So these can be done by an organization or the end user, whoever are using the end user. So that end user using this application, they can perform these benefits. At the same time, there is an option from patient. Even what patient can do, patient can schedule the meetings. Then they can submit intake and consent forms. They can pay bills online. They can request for prescription refills and upload necessary documents through a patient portal. Right. So these are having two different users. One user may be a business user, something like patients and all. Maybe user may be an application who is managing admin person or something like, so that they can do. So for that, there are some primary benefits. So what is that? Increasing profitability is what the benefit because of this application and healthcare organizations will achieve. So they can simplify the workflows. They can deliver high quality care. They can prescribe them precisely. They can stay mobile, receive payments online. So these are the different benefits which this application provides for the users. User means people who are using this application. User normally of anyone. Whoever are using this application called as a user. For example, in the last application, if you see, I'm taking point of sale system. Who are the users here? Retail store owners are the users. If you take, for example, online shopping application. Online shopping application, you have two kind of users. One is back-end team of the online shop. For example, Amazon. Right? So back-end team of Amazon will also be one user. Why? Because they are receiving orders. So they are also managing it. Next, one more is business user. Who is business user? Whoever is shopping through that portal for their, if someone wants to buy some products online. So they'll also be the users. User, nothing but person who is using an application. This usage of application may vary, depends on the type of user he may be. So what is that he can do here? For example, if you take patient can schedule meetings, patient can submit the consent forms, patient can pay bills online. So this is what patient can do. What an admin can do, admin can see the bills, whatever, whether this patient has paid or the bills all that or not, everything can be seen there. At the same time, they can have an access of the medical history of the patients. Of course, subject to terms and conditions using HIPAA rules and regulations. That's an add-on to that. So this is what generally the overall project is all about. Now, assume that this is the project we are working on, right? So we are working and this project we want to implement in the field of Agile. So now what is that we do? As I told you, you need to create a Jira board. You have to create a Jira board where you need to create a project. So project for this application, which was integrated suite of practice management, right? Now for this, these are the features. What are that? Denial management is one feature. Claims management is other feature. Integration is one more feature. Claim scrubber, billing, digital payments, scheduling, reporting. So the followed by e-scribing, charge capture app, and telehealth. So these are the different modules. You can consider, sorry, different features. So whatever the features are we talking about, these features you can call it as epic, right? So these features you can call it as epic. Now we have to create a project first. So what was the project? Qlient Integrated Practice Management. I'm just naming it as that. Qlient Integrated Practice Management. Create a project. Click on Create Project. Now, as I told you, Jira or Agile is not only confined to IT. You can, even non-IT guys can also use this, like for design, for finance people, human resource people, everybody for their purpose, they'll be using it. So that ours is into healthcare domain, IT applications. That's what we are developing. So software development is what I'm selecting now. So normally when we are working on agile projects, we normally tend to go towards Scrum. That is what generally most of the times we use, because whatever the product owner, team, Scrum master, all these things landed under the Scrum framework. I'm selecting Scrum. Use template. Now, normally there will be two different projects. One is team managed, second is company managed. Team managed means limited number of people in the team. They are managing on one project. If it is company managed projects means normally in company, if you see, for example, if I'm taking mine as an example, I have a couple of projects here. So there is a couple of projects I have, couple of agile teams I have. So there must be having some configuration issues, some authentications, permissions must be given by a role called Jira admin, right? So Jira admin will be a role where that Jira admin will maintain the projects, because development team cannot maintain, right? So development team can write down the code, testing, everything. So the configurations, if you want to connect with external applications or servers, that is not possible by the team because they may not have expertise. Second, they don't have that much time. That too, their projects are couple of projects, the teams are couple of teams even. Right? So multiple teams and multiple projects. So that company manager project is what they selects. Right? So expert configuration and all, everything is required. So as ours is a team managed required, so that we don't require any configuration. And simple configuration itself is sufficient. So that a team manager project is what we need to learn. So that we have to select team managed. Select a team managed project. Here you need to write down the name of the project. What is our project name? Qlient Integrated Practice Management. Okay, Qlient Integrated Practice Management. Qlient Integrated Practice Management. Right. So this is what the application name. Right. So project name is this. So automatically the key, it will be shown as a shortcut key, CIPM. Right. It was showing it as. Now here you need to select the access, right? Choose an access level. It is asking us. Normally, this is only for admins. At the same time, this project will have an access only for an admins. At the same time, people who are relating to the project, people who are in the project. So those people only will be the viewers, or those people can create, those people only can edit. So that we are not giving permissions to anyone else apart. So we have to choose the access level. I'm selecting it as private. Now, what is that I am doing? Is, I'm just clicking on create project. Now, the project was created on Jira. So, being a business analyst turned product owner, what is that you have to do? You need to know how to write epics. You should know how to write user stories. This is what you need to learn. Epics nothing but large scale of solution. In other sense, we call it as feature. So what are the features we have? So these are the benefits of using this product, right? That's what it is. But when it comes to features, these are the features. What is that? Denial management, claim management, integration, claim scrubber, all these. So these are features. Large scale of solution is this. We can consider it as. So here you can write these as epics. Okay, denial management. Here you can see on the board. Here, whatever you can see here, you can, if you can select this, you can see this is an epic. First, we have to create epics. Epics for different things. Denial management is the first epic. Next, second, claims management. Next, integration. Next, claim scrubber. Next, billing. Digital payments. Scheduling. Reporting. Next, e-prescribing. E-prescribing. Next, charge capture app. Next, tele. Right? So these are the epics which we have created. Okay, so we have created different epics. Denial management, claim management, integration, claim scrubber, digital billing, payments, all that, right? So these are the epics. What is that we have created so far? Now what we have to do, for every epic, there are some user stories. Those nothing but functionalities. Okay, that's what I have said. Functionalities is what we need to write here. The functionalities, if you want to learn, so first of all, you need to go for a project. So you need to write on the functionalities. So the functionalities here, it was given on a paragraph where you can reverse those into functionalities. What is that they can do? Functionalities under denial management I'm talking about. You need to contact a vendor to turn on denial management functionality to your account. First point, first functionality. What is that we need to do? Creating an account. This is the first functionality. Second, create and send customized appeal letters within, right? So creating appeal letters, right? So these are the two functionalities comes under denial management. Point number one. Okay, these are the two functionalities. Next, claims management. For claims management, create and send claims through billing and dashboard. Creating and processing claims. This is one thing. Now, for that, you need to have a dashboard. That's what they are saying, billing dashboard. Okay. You need to add a place of services, service date, renting, providing, billing provider, all that. Okay. Next, dashboard creation. Because in this dashboard creation, it is asking something like place of service, service dates, everything has to be there. So then only you can write down all the details and you can save those claims, right? So claims management relating to this. Now integration. So the vendor offers integration with Change Healthcare, saving your time and spend tracking claims and payment. You can access ERA directly from your account after insurance company, release reimbursement, helping you into financial cycle. Okay. So integration, what we can do, integration with Change Healthcare, track claims and payments. Okay, right. So tracking claims is what? One, right. So tracking claims. Okay. Tracking claims is what one, what we call one functionality. Next, tracking payments. Two different things. Okay. Claims, payments. Two different things I've selected. Next, accessing ERA directly from your account after insurance company release reimbursements and all that. Accessing ERAs, right? So accessing ERAs from your account, right? So what insurance company has released payments and all that. So helping your improve. So this is for this integration. If you see, this integration is a module which is used by the healthcare providers, hospitals, because whatever the reimbursements they have received from the insurance company, that part and all everything will be taken care of by them, right? So this is one. Next, claim scrubber. Claim scrubber automatically send claims to the claim scrubber queue before forwarding to the clearing host, right? So sending claims, right? Sending claims. So is what we were working on. Them to the clearing house, ensuring quick reimbursements. You can track the claim status. So claim status is also another functionality. Okay. Next, billing. You need to write down the billing part, right? Generate activity reports to view pending balances and all, right? So view reports, whatever it is, right? So view reports for different reasons. Either if you'd like to know about pending balances, or if you want to know about the charges, right? Or if you want to know about the adjustments, or if you have done any kind of write-offs and all, everything can also be done.
Can you go a little
exclude,
bit up? Can you please go up? Actually, after the integration. Can I see the one after the integration? Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
So view reports is what? So view reports means either you can view the reports, either charges or adjustments or write-offs, everything can be seen. You can exclude unbilled encounters if you want solid results. Export, okay. So one is view reports. So next, exporting of data. Right. So for this, you need to develop a functionality by the development team. These are the two. Next, digital payments. Allow patients to pay bills online. Online bill payment. Right. So online bill payments is the one thing. Next, via patient portal, right? So billing contacts can add remove payment sources through the dashboard. In case you didn't add any payment option, you will receive a prompt. Right. So online bill payment is what you need to select. So one thing. That's it. Next, scheduling. Auto send reminders to patients via right? So sending reminders, sending reminders through different modes, right? Either maybe text message or you are calling them, right? So all these things, right? So to reduce the non-trust, sync with sending reminders. Next, syncing the calendar, right? So how to sync? This is one more functionality because you want to schedule the resources like meetings, treatment rooms, and all that. So you need to sync with the calendar. Next, filter patient appointments by day, weeks, and months. Enable patients to check using the mobile app. Okay. Filtering the appointments, right? So this is one more thing. Now reporting, right? Reporting is one more. Generate patient prescription encounter lab and quality measure reports to make ensure decisions. Create syndrome surveillance to categorize the patient according to the type. So generate reports here again. Generate reports. This is all for reporting. Reports for lab related stuff on it, right? So the same, right? So here you have a generative reporting where you have view reports. Here you can see view reports. Here you can generate reports. That is the difference. Surveillance, syndroming, surveillance lists to categorize patients according to that. Generate reports. Create. So syndromic surveillance system, right? So why, for what reason? Because mentioned it, right? So that you can list the categorize the patient according to the diagnosis. Based on the diagnosis, you wants to categorize them, right? So that is what it is. Now, e-prescribing, view patients' medical histories to check for allergies to deliver value-based care. View records, right? Records relating to patient. For what basis? When you are providing medications to them, so we have to see that whether do they have any allergies for any. So we view medical records. For that, e-prescribing is required. Means if you want to prescribe some medicines, you have to see their medical history, so that if there is any, they are prone to any allergies or something like that, we have to see. Next, charge capture app. Physicians can document diagnosis, modify codes, and capture and procedure to speed up financial process. Bill patients provide services and prevent claim denials using iOS and Android devices. So this is an Epic, which is for physicians, right? So for them it is can document diagnosis, modifier codes to speed up financial process. Right. So this is for physicians uses for create documenting, right? Creating a repository. Right? So this is what it, right? So what is repository, right? So they can document the diagnosis, they can modify the codes and procedures, all these things they can do, right? So create a repository for the benefit of physicians because they wants to manage all that, okay? Using Android and that, so creating an app, right? App development, an option to manage these services, above services through app, right? So some apps so that physician can manage all these in the app itself. That's what it is. Next, create telehealth, right? Schedule virtual selection using secure video conferencing platform like Docs.me using customizable. Schedule virtual sessions. Schedule virtual sessions. Okay. Now, use customizable smart form templates to record patient conversation. Okay. Right. So, smart form templates to record patient's conversation. Creating customizable templates. Customizable templates. Right. So these are the functionalities which are under the Epic. Okay. So of course it has written some limitations even. So that is, of course, any application has pros and cons. So these are the epics. What is that we have created? Followed by epics, there are some functionalities we have mentioned. So these functionalities, you are writing it as a user story. Okay, user story. So here you can see here you can see an option called create child issue, right? So just click on create child issue, and this functionalities you have to write in a form of user story. The user story template which I have shown you, right? So how to create user story template I have shown you. On that manner, we have to see this. Okay, how to create user stories. Now, so the
Can you
first
please,
question, because of course,
can you please go to the last page?
this
The
is
last one you have done. Okay, thank you.
Is it visible?
Yeah.
Right. So these are the functionalities we have written. For these functionalities, how you show this in Jira? For this, what is that you have to do? You need to write user stories here. If you want to write user stories for all the epics, here you have an option called create child issue. Click here. You have to write a user story in the form of template as a user action followed by result. So you have to transform your functionality into that. Right. So how to write user stories, that I'll be showing you for the present functionalities tomorrow. Okay. How to write user stories for these functionalities. We have created a functionality, right? So we'll write all the functionalities in a form of user story for everything. So we have to keep the user into an account, because user may not be the same for everyone, right? User may be an even doctor sometimes for this application. User may be an admin sometimes. User may be an front office person sometimes. User may be a patient sometimes, right? So different people are using this. So how to write user stories, that I'll show you tomorrow. Now let's get back to the questions. Will BA hold the title role of Jira admin or a project manager? So fundamentally, this is the question from Saurabh Shrestha. Sorry. Let's see, there is no role as project manager in Agile. Point to be noted. Point to be noted. One more thing, you will not be a Jira admin. So if you are a Jira admin, you must be knowing about configurations, authentication, authorizations, and all. So BA never hold as any role as Jira admin or project manager. Most of the times you will be landed as a PO. That is one. So that's the reason why we are learning how to create epics and user stories. So next question from Dilli Puyal. So as a BA, do you have to have knowledge about Jira and Scrum Master? So Jira is what you're learning. But being a business analyst, what is that you need to do is, you need to know how to write epics and user stories. This is what you need to learn. You're not a Scrum Master, because if you are a Scrum Master, again, there are a lot of activities to be handled. So that's not part of our thing, right? So ours is only relating to BA Healthcare. So as a part of BA Healthcare, we are learning Jira. Okay, point to be noted. So we are not learning Agile training as separate. So in Agile, again, Agile Scrum training, Agile Kanban training, Product Owner training, Scrum Master training, Scrum Developer training, lot of trainings are there. So ours is belongs to Business Analyst Healthcare, whatever is relevant to that. In Connect to Agile environment, if you are a product owner, how to write user stories on Jira is what we are learning. So our learning is confined only to that. We are not relating to Agile training, point of view. Okay, so Jira we use how to write epics and user stories. So for that you need to learn. That's what we are doing. You are not a Scrum Master because Scrum Master responsibilities again will be different. Scenarios are different on that. So that again you need to have that expertise, that knowledge is. What is the, this is the question from Dinesh. What is the smart form to record the patient conversation? What was that? Smart form. I didn't get your question. Can you come again, please? Yeah, these notes, which one, whichever I have written anyway, I have told you there are some screenshots which I have supposed to copy. So that I'll copy and I'll forward today. So today evening sometime I'll copy this and forward the session notes. It to be balanced. That I'll do it. That you mentioned on the description. Which description? Which description it is belongs to? Dinesh?
Yes, sir.
That
You
you
have
mentioned
mentioned,
on,
I guess, in the telehealth, I guess, little bit lower.
yeah, that you can. 1 minute. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I mean, use customizable smart form template to record patients. So, what is that smart form templates?
Schedule virtual sessions means the one how you are connecting, right? So either you may be connecting people maybe with Zoom calls or GoToMeeting, or you may be using Microsoft Teams, all that. It's not voice recorders. Patient conversation. See, what is telehealth means? What is telehealth? Telehealth means you are guiding people through communication, right? So not by digital, not by physical appearance. So how you are connecting them, right? You may be connecting with anything, right? So telehealth, how you are getting telehealth, right? There will be an app, right? So if you are installing that app, you can use it. Or else you may be connecting doctors with Zoom. What is that we did in all this COVID time? How we have done it? What's the way of taking advices from the doctors in the COVID time, last 2 years? Most of the people were connected to digitally with the doctors, right? They've connected with doctors digitally and they've taken advices and medicines. So communication may be of anything, right? Any type. Right? So either you may be using, maybe they have their own app, right? So for virtual meetings, all that. Or they may be using Zoom calls, or they may be using virtual GoToMeetings, or they may be using Microsoft Teams or something like that. Right? Different ways. I hope you got my point. So this is what it is. Any questions on this? Any questions you'd like to know? Any questions you'd like to know? Enough? Right. So next question by someone, like as a BA, do you write user stories directly on Jira or we have prepared? Yeah. So this normally people whoever is in the, this is from Pratishtha Rai. Usually what we do, normally we write it on the document Word, we do the modification, then we'll go to Jira. If it is new first, usually in real environment also. We don't follow documents, but we write down the documentation first for a better understanding. rewrite user story once and twice, give a clear picture on that, and then we will go to Jira. That's how we write. That's how we do. We don't normally, we also don't advise, because in training also you can see now, I have not written user stories directly on Jira. I would have write. I don't have any problem. Right? So it is my regular activity. But it leads to confusion to the students. So what is that I did? First of all, I have written in Wix. Next, what are the functionalities I have written on the document? Now I'll write a user story here, then I'll copy it. Either way I can do, right? So for this functionality, I can write user story directly on the Jira, or else I can write it on the Word document and I can do it. So, but normally we write directly, but in the initial stages and all that. So for a comfortable level, we can write down in the document so that we can do necessary changes, modifications. We do something. Once it is right, then simply what we can do, simply we can write the same thing as a user story in the Jira. Because otherwise you can write, if you are having expertise, you can write direct user story there by taking that functionality into an account. That you can do it. But corrections and all everything for that purpose, for the training purpose I'm talking about, not in real time. Real time, if your team has that facility that you can write this and you can go, you can, otherwise you can straight away, you can write it on the Jira board. Anything is same, right? There is no difference. During the exam, will you give us a similar project? I am not relating to the examination, point to be noted with Sami, because I don't conduct the exam. So that, Mr. Manik and all those people will take care of that. So how it looks like, exam pattern, all this stuff, you need to ask them, not me,
No, I just
because I
wanted
am.
to know. No, I just wanted to know, like, do we have, like, in the exam, do we need to uh, do the things on, like, whatever we did just now? Do we need to do that in a Jira, or how do you do it?
Normally, I don't think when they conduct examination, they'll ask you to work on Jira or something like. I don't think so. But I am not having a clear understanding about what is the exam pattern. So it's better to ask Mr. Manik regarding the exam pattern, because I am not the one who is going to conduct. I'm only for training. Once my training is done, then when they are going to conduct the examinations and all that, and what is the pattern, you ask them, right? So you ask them the pattern of exam, then you will be, I think, pattern of exam, I think most of the questions will get clarified there. If you ask the pattern of examination, conducting examination, then I think for your question and for a couple of questions relating to the thing, I think that is the right question to ask, right? Pattern of question, you ask them, maybe they may come up with that. So if they are wants to willing to say anything, so I think Manik and team will take care of it. I'm not into this, so I cannot answer on it. Right. So this is all about. So functionalities were written on the document. So how to write user stories for all the functionalities that we see from tomorrow onwards. Clear to everyone? Any questions apart? Right then? Okay. Thank you. So we'll meet tomorrow and we write user stories, all that stuff tomorrow. Hopefully, if it is tomorrow or day after, either tomorrow or day after tomorrow, it will be over. Our sessions will be over. Okay. That's what it is. See you then.